Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach. So I believe this is the 14th installment of the shiur in Sefer Olam Hamidot. So Baruchim Habayim. Last segment, we are still in Olam HaKavod. Olam HaKavod, the portion about Kavod. And the last thing that we discussed was the Kavod of our children and how to boost their Kavod and their self-esteem and respect and confidence through giving them Kavod. The next segment is about the Kavod that the teacher must have for the students. So first of all, we know that a student is obligated to honor his Rebbe, his teacher, his master. Like our Chachamim said in Pirkei Avot, Yeheh Mora Rabbach Kemora Shamayim, that the fear and the honor and the respect of your Rebbe should be upon you like the fear of Hashem, Mora Shamayim. It says in Gemara, Et Hashem Elohecha Tira, right? You must fear God. So the word et is not needed, is extra. And they say that's coming to be Lerabot Talmidei Chachamim. That's coming to include that we must fear Talmidei Chachamim, someone who's a Talmid Chacham. So that's established, that, on the fact that we have to give kavod and honor and respect to our Rebbe, that's established. But many don't know that also the Rebbe has to give honor to his children. Again, to his students. Again, this is the same way that we discussed, but the parents giving honor to their children, the same way. Obviously, it's not. It wouldn't be the same type of kavod that he has to give, and the same level of kavod that he has to give. But the truth is, this is a Mishnah again in Pirkei Avot. Pirkei Avot, it says, Yehi kavod talmidecha chaviv alecha keshelcha, that the kavod and the honor of your talmid should be dear upon you like your own kavod. So we see the Chachamim already are teaching us about this, that a Rebbe, a teacher, must have that level of respect towards their students. The job, the mission of the Rebbe is to be like a father, to give chizuk, to strengthen, to encourage, and to give kavod, and to love his students. It says in the Torah, we say in Shema, Veshinantam levanecha, that you must teach these words of Torah to your children. And our Chachamim say, who are banecha? Banecha, elu ha-talmidim. That means they're equal. They're just like your children. So you need to be like a father, like a mother to your students. And that's the beginning of Pirkei Avot. It says, Anshe Knesset HaGedolah, they said three things. One of the three things that they said was, Ha'amidu talmidim harbeh. Ha'amidu talmidim harbeh. You must, so on the simple translation, we say that you must erect, you must have a lot of students. But the Tanaim Mishnah uses the word ha'amidu. What's ha'amidu? Ha'amidu means that the Rebbe has an obligation to help them stand up. How? By recognizing how important they are. And once they realize that they're important, once they realize that they're chashuv, through that, they will have that encouragement, they will have that chizuk to become great. Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai, again, in Pirkei Avot, over there in the second chapter in Pirkei Avot, he says over there that Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai had 5 major students. And it lists the students, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yehoshua, Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, and few Mishnayot are dedicated to this. And he says, Hu haya moneh shivcham. He would count their praise. What does that mean? That means he would tell them exactly, what potential they have, what they possess. And it says, Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkanos bor sid sheino ma'abed tipa. He is like a well-insulated well that doesn't even lose a drop of its water. And what was he doing? He was letting each student know their strengths and their positive things that they have. Right? So for sure, everything that we discussed up to here about giving kavod to others, giving kavod to our children is definitely applicable to the students. But there is more. There is more, and we could learn from here also to there, to the other places that we need to give kavod. First of all, the Rebbe, the teacher, has to know that he is very important in the eyes of his students. And he is a role model, right? To teach them what a Ben Torah is, right? So, if they love him, the Torah will be loved on them, right? Because he is the one that symbolizes, he is the symbol of Torah to them. And if they love him, they love the Torah. And chas v'shalom, if it's the opposite, if they hate him, they hate Torah as well. Chas v'shalom. And that's what it says. You need to be ohevet Torah, karavan la Torah. I'm sorry, ohevet beriot. You need to love the people, and through that love, you will bring them close to the Torah, right? Because if you love them, they will love you back, and automatically they would want to learn from whatever it is that you're teaching them. You're teaching them Torah. This is how you will bring them close to the Torah. So chas v'shalom, sometimes you find students that they don't accept the Rebbe, they don't like him, they don't want to do it. Sometimes it's because he doesn't show them the love that he has for them. So the Rebbe's job is to show that love to the students. Also, he needs to give them chizuk, he needs to strengthen them, to give them kavod, and to worry for them like a father does for his child. Then for sure he will feel that love, he will feel that closeness, right? Once he creates that connection, once he creates that bond with the students, then the student will be ready to accept whatever it is that he's teaching them, right? Then he could even give him musar. He could give him a harsh musar because he knows that he loves him. But if he doesn't know, then when you give him musar, he's not going to accept it. Ve'ohavo shecharo musar. That's we had this previously from Mishle, right? That's so important that, like, just like we said by parents that that through anger a person cannot give musar. When you want to say something harsh to the person, right? Then don't, because if you break his kavod, he won't accept. When you give him kavod, when you show him that you're doing this because you love him, right? Not because you hate him, chas v'shalom, that's when it'll work. Otherwise, it won't work. He won't accept what you have to say. Gemara Masachet Nedarim says that two of the great Chachamim, Rav Zutra, Mar Zutra, and Mar Zutra Chasida, famous Mar Zutra Chasida, if one of the students in the yeshiva he would need to put him in nidui. Nidui is some level of excommunication. First, he would put himself in excommunication, then he would put them. Then he would do that to them. This is how much kavod, this is how much respect he had for them. Rabbeinu Nisim, he's a commentator in Gemara Masachet Nedarim. He says, you know why he did that? Because of the honor and the respect that he had for the yeshiva boy. Because of the honor and the respect that he had for them, right? That's what he would do. He would do that to himself first. This is a true Rebbe, right? Now, if you look back in the Gemara, why would a Rebbe ever want to do that to his student? Because he did something terribly wrong, and he needs to punish him. So we know who we're dealing with. And yet, he felt that he still needs to give him the level of respect, and he would be hurt, like that he has to punish him. You go to a good yeshiva, when the Rashi Yeshiva feel that they need to send one of the boys home. What they have to go through. They go through meetings after meetings, what to do, until they decide, look, it's either keep him in the yeshiva, or, and he will damage other boys in the yeshiva, or send him away. This is usually going to be the deciding factor. And then they look at it. They're not out to get him. They're not out to take revenge. They're not out to, to destroy the boy, right? It's in the matter of what choice do we have, right? We need to save the other boys in the yeshiva, right? And I've seen it myself many times in yeshiva, and they take care of them. They take care of them, even later they're in touch with them. They make sure, where to send them, what to do. The boy, if you ever read the book, Ani Avdecha, by Rabbi Teller, he would send someone away from our high school in Israel. He kept a seder with them for the next 30 years. Could you imagine, he sent him out of high school, and the boy, he kept in touch with him. He made sure to find him a good place to go, and it's incredible. It's an incredible book, just to learn from, how a person should be. He said it's very, very important that the Rebbe should give that respect and that show importance to each one of his students, right? Even if the student is not successful, even if the student is not doing that well, right? And he has to, right? If he sees that he's not, 100%, he's not very successful, he still has to give him the benefit of the doubt and to realize that for sure, there's so many causes in our day and age, that would withhold from him his success in his learning. That's why he's having such a hard time. And if he really cares about him, he needs to try to understand what they're going through, what's happening with them, right? And when he does, he will see in front of him a pure neshama underneath that tough skin, right? But if he doesn't give him that importance, he doesn't care about him, right? And he thinks he's a nothing, then there is no hope for this child, right? Because this student is not going to feel important, and he's not going to give importance to his Rebbe, then we're total loss. Like Shlomo Melech says, Kamaim hapanim lepanim, ken lev adam la'adam. Right? There's a connection. If he feels he's not being respected by his Rebbe, he won't respect him, and then everything is lost. When the Rebbe looks at his student, he needs to remember what the Rambam says. The Rambam says, in Halachot Teshuvah, Kol Adam ve'Adam, every person is deserving to be Kamet Tzaddik like Moshe Rabbeinu. That's what the Rambam writes. He says, so, right now, if this student is not acting like a great tzaddik, but what about this possibility? You know what? One day, this boy could be a tzaddik yesod olam. One day, this person will be that. So in that case, I need to give him that respect right now, right? Had I known that this boy someday is going to be like Moshe Rabbeinu, he's going to be Gadol Hador, right? How would I treat him now? Rav Ovadia always talks about his Rebbe, Harav Abu, right? He always talked about it, that he was machshiv them. 80 years later, he was talking about it, right? This is a Rebbe has to trust him, has to trust those hidden treasures within the student, right? Then when he does, the student also will believe in himself, and he will be able to rise to great heights. Now, for sure, a Rebbe's obligation is to elevate his students in the spiritual realm. But he needs to also make sure that in the physical realm, they're also doing good, right? If he really loves him, he would worry about him, would make sure that he's doing okay. He would ask him, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on? Do you need anything when you're in yeshiva? Do you need anything at home? He would ask him, what is going on within your family? And all these things are not only things that are for his physical being, they are also for his spiritual growth. Because if something is missing, something is bothering him, something, everyone knows in schools, they want to make sure that everything is going okay at home, because if it's not, if there's something going on, then the child will be distracted. Same exact thing over here. When you do ask, then you show that you care. It would be a great help. Also, he's not here to teach him just wisdom. He's here to build people, right? To plant in his students everything, every vessel that they could need to succeed in life, to understand each student, what is good about him, and to understand the tests that they go through, and to try to help them to overcome those tests, to let each one know how important they are. And within all the rebuke that he might give him, he has to teach him. This has to be the underlying message. My dear, good student, you have so much potential. I'm just sorry that such an important person like you is not trying to reach his potential. And this is the message that we need to give our students. So this is the end of the portion about the kavod of the students. The next one is about the relationship with the husband and wife, and he's talking to husbands more how they should respect their wives. We're going to skip it because it's going to cause a lot of shalom bayit issues. But at the end of the day, the gist of it is, he writes that on both sides, we have to give kavod to one another, even if we're not receiving kavod. Right? Even if the husband is not giving kavod to the wife should give kavod to the husband. Even if the wife is not giving kavod to the husband should give kavod to the wife. That's for sure. And the kavod should be genuine. It has to be genuine. It shouldn't be fake. The guy says, okay, at 3:30 every day, I'm going to send a message to my wife that I love her, Or every Friday, I'm going to buy a flower. These are fake. These aren't it has to be real kavod, that a person has to, this is on both sides, and he needs thought, he needs to think. He needs that a person should really think things through, and this is definitely the number one thing about Shalom Bayit that each person should have, and Be'ezrat Hashem, blessings to all.
Are we talking about kavod from students to teachers at all?
Well, that's simple. That's for sure. That goes, without saying. We started off the shiur about the kavod for the student to the teacher, right? That it needs to have that kavod and appreciation and hakarat hatov that we have to have at least that much. For they're working hard. They're trying to help us, and it's a chesed that they're doing. How much are they getting paid? They're getting a $1 million salary? No. And at the end of the day, it is chesed. It's definitely a chesed that they're doing to all the students, for sure. No question about that. Now, in this last segment, very, very important segment, we're talking about the opposite of giving kavod to others. What is that? That means putting them down, right? And he says, obviously, it's a midah ra'a umgunne me'od. It's a very ugly and evil midah, right? It's zilzul. It's called zilzul b'kvod acherim, right? Degrading, right? Disrespecting others. He says just like it's a great mitzvah to give kavod to others, just like we explained, it is a great averah to put them down, to degrade them, right? Through kavod, we said, you could build people. And chas v'shalom, through degrading, we could break the person down. That's for sure. Now, for sure, I keep saying for sure. It's a simple thing that if a person disrespects others, whether it's in front of them, whether it's not in front of them, and he is obviously over on the Isur of Lashon Hara, that definitely is a sign that this person does not have kavod for himself. Being that he's missing that kavod, self-respect, so it would be very hard for him to even accept giving kavod to other people, to even want to give kavod to other people, because he doesn't have the self-respect, right? This is a person that's exactly the opposite of what it says in the Mishnah, right? Ezehu mechubad hamachabed tabiriyot. Who is a person who is respected? One who respects others. And when he doesn't respect others, he is certainly not mechubad. With this, we can understand there is an interesting Gemara, Masachat Ta'anit. It says all the hayot, all the beasts, in the future. They will come to the snake, and they will tell the snake, "Listen, the lion attacks people and eats whatever it's prey. Wolf the same thing. Does it for eating. What pleasure do you have by stinging people? What do you gain? What pleasure do you have from it? What does he say? Pasuk interesting. It says, "Ve'en yitron leba'al halashon," meaning that one who says lashon hara, what pleasure does he have? So I'm symbolizing that. The end of Gemara. So questions are asked by the commentaries. What does it mean? What are you talking about? When you say lashon hara, you know how much pleasure you have. So much fun. It's like incredible. Like saying lashon hara. It's like a person has a great desire to say lashon hara. So how can he say what pleasure is there for a person who says lashon hara? The answer is yes, there is a pleasure. But you know who has this pleasure? Us, that we have pleasure in saying lashon hara, that's because we're not healthy. In a spiritual sense, we're not healthy. That's why we get pleasure by saying lashon hara about other people. That's what we just said. Like, the person that puts down other people, this is not a healthy person, right? He's missing that self-respect. The same thing with lashon hara. It's not a mental, not mental, I should say spiritual health, complete health, to want to say lashon hara, to have benefit and pleasure from saying lashon hara. That's all. He says, someone who is healthy, someone who is spiritually healthy, he won't find pleasure by putting other people down. He won't find pleasure by saying lashon hara about other people. Other tavot, other desires, right? Let's say a person says, "Oh, I don't have any pleasure in eating." There's something wrong with the person. Must be he has fever. Must be he lost his taste bud. He needs to get himself checked, right? There's something wrong here. But this pleasure, there is a spiritual sense of something lacking. And that's exactly what the snake was alluding to. Now, on the other hand, we have the mitzvah. The Torah says, "Hocheach, tocheach et amitecha." A person has an obligation to give rebuke to another Jew. If he sees a person is doing something wrong, you need to go tell him you're doing something wrong. But we need to be extra careful how we do it. We have to do it with kavod. We have to do it with respect. You cannot break the person's kavod. Now, how do we break the person's kavod? Let's say you saw someone commit a sin, right? So you go over to him and you say, "Listen, you did this." There is two things. There's two issues. One, when he hears that he sinned, automatically he feels that he is not an important person because he went against what Hashem wants, right? And that's why we need to be very careful that when you want to give him rebuke, you do it in a manner that you want to give him chizuk. You don't want him to lose his importance. You want to give him chizuk, right? And we mentioned, how we could do that previously, a few weeks ago, how to go over to the person and give him chizuk. Number two reason why he would feel degraded is because now he feels that you, his friend, you don't like him so much. You feel you're looking down on him because you realize he stumbled somewhere. And for this, we need to use a lot of wisdom. How to do it, right? Pasuk says, "Hocheach tocheach et amitecha, velo tisa alav chet." Right? Surely you must rebuke him, and you have to be careful. Do not carry a sin on him. What does that mean? Don't carry a sin. So he says like this: don't make that sin like a heavy burden on him that it's going to crack him, right? Don't make him feel that that he is he's a great big sinner in your eyes, right? Talk to him as if something light, what, maybe you did this, possibly like that. Later on his own, he'll understand what terrible thing he did. And you also need to make sure to give him rebuke in a manner that he won't feel that, oh my gosh, this guy knew for a long time that I have sinned. You got to come up as if, oh, it just happened now. As if, I just came to realize. This way he won't feel that his level has been going down all this time, by you, And you start talking to him and you say, "Oh, by the way, I just wanted to tell you something," like that. This we could learn from Yaakov Avinu. What happened by Yaakov Avinu? In the beginning of Parashat Vayetze, he reaches the city of Haran, and he sees a bunch of shepherds are procrastinating. Smack in the middle of the day, they should be grazing their flock, but instead they're just hanging around, on their cell phones. And what does he do? He wants to tell them, "Listen, what are you guys doing here? Smack in the middle of the day, you should be working." But no. What does it say? He starts schmoozing with them, giving them kavod. He says, "Achai, my brothers, me'ayin atem, where are you from?" These are very friendly, conversational talks. And then, after that, he says, "Oh, it's still a long day," But this way, they're not concentrating on the fact that he's looking at their negative attributes. They're not concentrating, "Oh, this guy is calling us a lazy bums," No, they see that he's giving them respect. So then they will accept the rebuke. And there's many other ways he brings down how a person could, there are tips how a person could do it. It just needs thought. How can I give rebuke in a pleasant manner, right? If a person doesn't put the time and effort, right, then automatically he will be putting the other person down for no need, for no reason. Rambam writes in halachot of retzicha, in halachot of murder, Rambam writes, if someone is chasing after someone else to murder him, to kill him, right? And this person wants to save him. If he has the ability to save him by, let's say, shooting the guy in the leg, right? And instead doesn't bother, he just shoots the guy and kills him. This is shofech damim. He spilled blood. Why? You could have easily saved him from through a different manner, but you didn't. You didn't bother. That's murder. Chas v'shalom. He says, although Beit Din doesn't kill him for this, but it is considered murder. Same thing here. If a person could have saved him, could have talked to the person in a very mild manner, in a manner that he won't be embarrassed, he won't feel down and broken, and he doesn't, then it would be a pity. He says there are some people that they always love to find negative about other people and go to them and say, "Listen, you did this, you did this, you did this." They love it. Their kavanah is not l'shem shamayim. They just love it that, I'm better than them. I could tell them, I'm a very good critic. I could criticize people and it's great. If you see someone that loves doing this and he doesn't care to do it in a manner that won't put the people down, right? Doesn't do it with respect, that's for sure a sign that he's not doing it for the sake of Hashem. He's not doing it Hashem Shammai. Also, a person has to be careful. Don't take away from a person the kavod, the respect that he deserves. For example, let's say you hear someone is a chazan. He prayed, beautiful, very nice. You go over to him and say, "Oh, chazak baruch, you did a great job." But you know what? One of those songs didn't match. Or you hear someone, he gave a drasha, right? And his friend walked over to him after, he says, very nice speech. But you know what? Next time, maybe talk a little louder. Right? He's trying to be helpful. But you know what? You just broke his kavod. That's what it is. Because, okay, he felt great, and then you come over and you show him something that he lacked. It's not a good thing to do. Chacham, what does a chacham do? You want to help him? Help him. Right away when he's finished praying or giving the drasha, go to him, say Chazak Baruch, great job, loved it, thank you very much. A couple of days later, you make sure you get in touch with him. You say, you know what? You did such a great job, but I think, this and this. This way, he'll appreciate, because he got all the kavod that he needed back then, and now he even appreciates that you remembered him to give him that tip. He'll feel great, trying to help him out. He said there was a boy once in yeshiva. He came up with such a brilliant thing in his mind that he thought of in the Gemara. And he was very happy about it. And he went in and he told his friend. His friend right away saw that he didn't understand the Gemara. But what did he say? He said, look, this guy is having such a great time with this. I'm not going to break his kavod. He told him, wow, this is very, very smart. You came up with a genius way of thinking. Only later, a couple of days later, he said to him, you know what, I thought about what you said. And I'm having a hard time understanding this and this and this point. And then when he did it in that manner, the other person accepted it happily. The person's kavod is right there in front of us. We could make it or we could break it. The Rambam writes, it's the Mishnah in Masachet Avot. He says, Malbim penei chavero barabim. Chas v'shalom, someone embarrasses others in front of others. One who calls someone with a name, right? With any name, right? And one who gains kavod by putting the other person down. It says in the Mishnah over there, Ein lo chelek le'olam haba. Does not have a portion in Olam haba. Rambam says all of these, right? Only a person who has a low level of soul and is not doesn't want to reach perfection, does it. And such person does not deserve to be part of Olam haba. Right? Many times a person becomes embarrassed from a certain situation. And other people, they love it. When they see this, they laugh at him. They get him when he's down. He says, this is a terrible, ugly thing to do, to get benefit from other people's degradation. Sefer Madrigat Adam brings a very amazing story. Everyone knows Rabbi Akiva Eiger was one of the top geniuses, one of the Gedolei Hador. Not too long ago, I think about 150 years ago, would be safe to say. He was the Av Beit Din, he was the Rosh Yeshiva of Pozna, Rabbi Akiva Eiger was a huge anav. I mean, you can't say enough about his anava. Many, many things are written about it. So when he just got engaged, his future in-laws invited him for Shabbat to their town. And he went there. The whole city knew, this is Rabbi Akiva Eiger. This is a famous Rabbi Akiva Eiger. And they wanted to test him to see how smart, what a genius he is, how much knowledge he has. And whoever came and talked to him, he behaved as if he doesn't know. He doesn't know anything. And word started getting around, until he reached his future father-in-law. His future father-in-law was looking for a huge Talmid Chacham as his son-in-law. And he's hearing these things. He was about to tell him, listen, I think you should go home. Rabbi Akiva Eiger says, please, give me another week. Let's wait another week. Why did he do that? Because that Shabbat, there was a chatan in town. Everybody was talking about that wedding and that chatuna and that wedding that took place and everything. And this chatan was finishing his Sheva Barachot and was leaving town. Rabbi Akiva Eiger knew if he starts showing who he is, all the concentration, everything is going to go on Rabbi Akiva Eiger, and the attention is going to be taken away from that chatan. Nobody's going to pay attention to him. Rabbi Akiva Eiger was willing to forego for a week, his kavod and everything, in order that, that person shouldn't be missing any kavod. Once that was gone, he started being himself again, his normal self, and everyone knew who he was. Are you kidding me? And then his future father was very happy. So to end off, we need to be extra, extra careful with the kavod of others, whether in front of them, whether not in front of them. Like our Chachamim teach us, Yehi kevod chavercha, chaviv alecha keshelcha. The kavod of your friends should be dear to you like your own kavod. One who is careful with this, our Chachamim tell us, Kol sheruach haberiyot nochahemenu, whoever other people are happy with them, they are comfortable with them, Hashem is going to be comfortable with them and happy with them. And a person who makes roots within himself, what we talked about in the world of Midot, for sure, Be'ezrat Hashem, he's going to build himself, build his family, build his Shalom Bayit, build his children and his students and the whole world around him. And the kavod that he's bringing into the world, right? He could use that kavod to build worlds for himself. Amen. Okay, we're done with Olam HaKavod. Next segment is Olam HaKin'ah, jealousy. All right. Press the button.